On today's episode of the Cryptoverse. Now, if you found yourself over the last 7 days asking the question, why did I even invest in crypto in the first place? You are not alone. I've been asking myself the same question, and I'll share my answers with you today in this video. If you're new around here and you would like to get rid of the ads, support the show, and earn cryptocurrency rewards on a daily basis, then please check out the website, thecryptoverse.show. If you click on that big blue button there that says Get Paid to Watch, it will explain to you how you can earn cryptocurrency rewards every day, get rid of the ads, and support the production of this show. Link to that also be down below in the video description. So why did I even invest in crypto in the first place, right? The market conditions over the last 7 days can be reasonably considered to be hard times for crypto investors, right? Now, whenever I hit a hard time in crypto or in life, I take that as an opportunity to re-examine the fundamental reasons why I did something in the first place. So if those fundamental reasons are no longer valid when examined, then the hard time acts as a wake-up call that I need to make some changes. That's logical, right? So that's the opportunity we are being afforded right now in crypto. Yesterday, I took a bit of what I call a meta look about how the crypto revolution does not exist in a vacuum. Rather, in hindsight, it was perfectly predictable, given that humanity was moving in this evolutionary societal direction, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom back out to this question. Why did I even invest in crypto in the first place? When I asked myself that question repeatedly over the last 7 days, I thought back to every time I'd put money in, and I came up with exactly the same answer, which was, realistically, where else was I going to put my money? And that's not a glib statement. It's not as glib as it sounds. We are in an unprecedented time in the history of economic systems. Yes, we've had booms and busts. Yes, we've had bubbles and pops. However, right now we are in a situation that we've never ever seen before. We are in what Mike Maloney calls the everything bubble. So largely because of the incredible amounts of currency that were created by all the major economic powers, asset prices across the board are significantly overvalued and have been for some time. So you'll often hear me speak about economics in terms of it being an organism. So it's a system where energy is like constantly flowing from one area to another and then one area to another. For example, if real estate's booming, gold might be crashing. If stocks are crashing, government bonds might be booming, and so on, right? So there I was, the millennial that I am, looking at the 2008 financial crisis, looking at all the investment opportunities in traditional asset classes and thinking, the capital values are way too high, the dividends are low, the yields are low, and the interest rates are low. Plus, when compared to the interest rates, the inflation rate doesn't look great. So when I compared the interest rate to the inflation rate, I realized that if I just put my money in a savings account, interest-bearing savings account, it would gradually dissolve through loss of purchasing power. If inflation was 3% and the annual interest rate was 2%, that means 1% of my net worth is evaporating every year, compounded. Not good. That made me wonder if one of the reasons that central banks have put these 0% interest rates in place is to almost create an incentive for us to move our cash out of our savings account where it's going to devalue and into these traditional asset classes to inflate their values even further. That's just a little conspiracy theory of mine. So I look at all this and I go, well, it seems like no matter where I put my money in the old financial system, there is a high risk that I'm going to lose money. It's a very high risk investment system. And I can't put it in cash because it's going to erode anyway. So there is literally nowhere for my money to go. Then I discover this new financial system that started with Bitcoin, a system, ironically, created in direct response to the flaws in the existing financial system. I see that and I go, yes, this is bleeding edge technology. Yes, it's high risk. But I knew I was taking huge risks investing in way overvalued traditional financial assets anyway. So I decided to take the lesser of the two evils. And that's basically a very short version of why I invested in cryptos in the first place. It's also the main reason why I didn't sell in the run-up to a $20,000 Bitcoin. I'm sure most of you who were around then, who also didn't sell, have wondered the same thing. I've asked myself repeatedly, like, why didn't I sell everything at 20k? Am I stupid? Every time I ask myself that question, I came up with the same answer. The truth is that I did think about selling. Every time crypto took another leg up, I thought about selling the whole lot. But every time I thought about it, I decided not to. Consciously decided not to. It wasn't like I was paralyzed, right? You know me, super rational. So I looked at it all, analyzed it, decided not to. And the reason I decided not to was the same reason I got into crypto in the first place. I determined that moving my value out of crypto and into the traditional financial system, which has systemic flaws, that was a very unwise thing to do in my analysis, right? I actually ran these mental rehearsals where I, pretended in my mind that I sold all my crypto into fiat, and the very next day after I did that, the next financial crisis hit, the fiat system collapsed, and I lost tons of money, haircuts, bail-ins, bailouts, then I'd be sorry, right? Sure, I'm sorry right now because the crypto prices are dropping so much, but I do not believe that the crypto economy is under a systemic risk of collapse, while I am absolutely convinced that the traditional financial system is at a very real risk of a systemic collapse, and it could happen any minute. Remember 2008? We all woke up one morning as if it was a normal day, and the entire financial system is melting down before our very eyes and on the verge of collapsing globally. We were this close to a global systemic collapse of the economy where the whole system would have frozen, right? It just would have, anyway, I'm not going to go into that right now. And the truth is that it would have collapsed if the central banks hadn't stepped in and created ungodly amounts of currency, injected it into the market to cause the mechanism to continue. And that actually brings us back full circle. The ungodly amount of currency that was created is primarily the cause of the huge overinflation in asset prices resulting in the everything bubble. So, I got sick and tired of hearing things like, crypto's in a bubble, when no one was talking about the elephant in the room, which was, and still is, the everything bubble in traditional assets. So, my reasons for investing in the crypto space in the first place, they are still as valid as the very first day that I thought of them. So if you'd like more detail on the everything bubble, well, you can look up the YouTube channel called Gold Silver with Mike Maloney and watch his series of videos, in-depth videos, where he describes the everything bubble very, very well. Mike and I are cut from the same cloth and I love him dearly. But that is all I've got for you today. So if you like this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback, and I would very much appreciate it if you would get subscribed. Also check out the online store where you'll find shirts like this, bearing the Cryptoverse branding. I appreciate you doing that because your purchase from the online store will help to keep this channel going. Other than that, I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.